There is a question that has haunted parents, priests, and philosophers for millennia. Where does a memory begin, and where does it end? But for one family, the question became terrifyingly specific. What do you do when your toddler's first memories are of being someone else and of being murdered? In a quiet suburban home, amidst the familiar sounds of a playroom, the clatter of wooden blocks, the hum of a toy car, a 3-year-old boy named Ozan began to suffer from violent nightmares. His parents, initially attributing them to night terrors, would rush to his room to find him thrashing, screaming words that held no meaning for them. Then the words started to bleed into his waking hours. In interviews with family members, his mother recalled the first time he spoke the name. He called himself Nakati, she stated. He said he was not Ozan, he was Nakati. The boy, not yet 4, began to recount details of a life he had never lived. He spoke of a dusty village named Hatanke, a place his parents had never heard of. He described a farm, a wife named Fatima, and children. And then he spoke of his death. According to the family's documented testimony, the boy stated with chilling clarity that a man named Recep had killed him. He described being struck from behind with an iron hammer, his body dragged and buried near a specific pear tree by a stream. The parents' concern morphed into a profound unease. The boy's claims were not fleeting fantasies. They were a consistent, repeating narrative. Medical records from the time show they consulted pediatricians and child psychologists, searching for a rational explanation. None was found. The boy, in recorded conversations, would describe the layout of his old house with architectural precision. He drew pictures of the man, Recep, and the hammer. He insisted day after day that his body was still there, waiting. His father later told investigators, "You see your son, your little boy, and he looks at you with absolute certainty and says, 'They need to find my bones.'" The specificity was the most unnerving part. It wasn't just a story. It was a testimony. Driven by a mixture of desperation and a sliver of terrifying belief, the family decided to act. They located the village of Hatanke on a map, a remote settlement over 100 miles away, a place with which they had no personal, professional, or ancestral connection. As they drove into the village, a strange thing happened. The boy, Ozan, began to act as a guide. He pointed out landmarks that had long since changed. "That was the coffee house," he'd say, pointing to a dilapidated storefront. Upon seeing an elderly woman, he called out a name, and according to local accounts, the woman stopped in her tracks, stunned. The boy had named her deceased husband. He then confidently led his parents and a gathering of curious villagers through the winding dirt paths, not to a random spot, but to a specific house. He walked directly to a fallow plot of land behind it, stopped beside a gnarled, old pear tree near a dried-up stream bed, and pointed to the ground. "Here," he said. "This is where he put me." With the village's attention now fixed on the family from the city, and the boy's unwavering certainty, local authorities were cautiously notified. What began as an effort to appease the distraught family soon became a formal excavation. After hours of digging, a shovel struck something solid. It was not a rock. Police records from the excavation detailed the discovery: a human skeleton, unearthed exactly where the 4-year-old child had indicated. The skull showed evidence of catastrophic blunt force trauma. Buried alongside the remains was a rusted, heavy-headed iron hammer, matching the boy's description precisely. The discovery sent a shockwave through the community and the national press. Dental records and forensic analysis confirmed the remains belonged to Nakati Zengen, a man who had vanished from the village nearly 50 years prior. The case, long cold, was officially a homicide. Authorities then turned their attention to the name the boy had repeated since his first nightmares: Recep. They located an elderly man named Recep, now living in another town, who had been Nakati's neighbor and business partner decades ago. When confronted with the impossible evidence, a child born decades after the murder, who knew the victim's name, the killer's name, the weapon, and the clandestine burial site, the old man's composure shattered. According to court documents, he confessed to the murder, his account of the crime mirroring the toddler's memories in every crucial detail. The case was closed. A killer was brought to justice. But for the family and for anyone who learns of this account, the real mystery had only deepened. As Ozan grew older, the memories of Nakati's life began to fade, like a dream upon waking. By the time he was a teenager, they were gone completely, leaving only the documented story of a past that inexplicably passed through him. The story provides no easy answers about souls or the afterlife. It leaves us instead with the stark, verifiable facts and a lingering, profound question. How can a memory survive the death of the mind that holds it? And what is the mechanism that allows a past so violently ended to reach across time and speak its truth through the mouth of a child?